Hey guys, I just left the birthing center. I'm in my car now, and I just had like the most amazing day ever. I saw a water birth, and it completely like changed my mind about anything I ever thought about water births before. Um, I've never been to a birthing center before. I've heard about them, like Baby and Company is one of them. Um, that's not the one I came to today, but it's just really like a whole different option for women who don't want to have their child in the hospital, who want like a pretty natural delivery. Maybe you don't want epidural, you're not interested in pain control. You just want to do everything naturally and just have a really peaceful, labor and delivery experience. Um, I've learned so much today. It's like I'm trying to put it like all together to explain it to you guys. So when I first came in here this morning, like I didn't know what to expect. But I walked in, they gave me a tour of the place, and it is so beautiful. So like half the clinic is for people who like come in and do like their regular routine visits. They can do annual exams, they can do STD checks, they can do prenatal visits, postpartum, sonograms, put in IUDs, Nexplanons for birth control. Um, Anything like that. And then the other side, like the left side of the clinic, they're actually expanding to make more birthing rooms, but right now they only have a few. But they actually have these birthing rooms that are like look like pretty big bedrooms, and they have their own bathroom attached to them, and it looks just like an actual bedroom in someone's house. The birthing room has like a queen size bed. Um, One is called the blue room, and it's like painted like this really pretty mint baby blue color, really relaxing in there. They have like the essential oils burning and peaceful music. Each room has its own pool. So when you go in the room, there's like an inflatable pool there that they put a cover that like covers the whole pool. So when that delivery is done, they can just drain out the water from that cover and just peel the cover off. So it's really sanitary. Nothing ever actually ends up touching the pool. Um, so it's really easy to clean up after, but you don't have to come here and do a water birth, but every room does have a pool because usually that's what the moms end up doing. The gravity from being in a pool and being on your knees compared to laying on your back on the bed trying to deliver, like that gravity helps that baby come out so much easier. Um, just so you guys know some background, like I've seen a lot of vaginal deliveries and C-sections when I worked in the hospital at labor and delivery, and I've seen some go really well and I've seen some not go so well. And this today was just a complete different experience. The mom came in, and this was not her first baby, but she came in with her husband. They just drove up and they felt like she was having contractions. She didn't have her water broken yet, but she was like, he hasn't ate yet. She was worried about her husband, of course. And so she was like, well, can he just go get some Chick-fil-A first, and then he'll come back, and then you can bring my water, and we'll go from there. So we were like, okay, that's fine. We can do that. So he went to go get his Chick-fil-A and came back, and we broke her water like around 1, maybe it was 1, maybe a little after, like 1:30 maybe, and she delivered like an hour later. She moved pretty fast. So we had her in the pool. The midwife, which let me just tell you how like amazing this midwives are. First of all, midwives, for those who don't know, midwives are nurses who have a master's degree and certification in midwifery. So basically they are a registered nurse who went back to school to get their master's in nursing, and they specialize in being a midwife. So they have very special training for this, and they are amazing. Like, they are really amazing. It was just so like nice to be in a room, and it's like they're really like there's no doctor in this whole building. So like the whole building is run by like really amazing nurses. The whole women empowerment feeling in there is amazing. So like 2 midwives like actually opened up this practice themselves. My doctor does supervise them, but he's pretty pretty much lets them do their own thing. He just supervises. But they pretty much got everything together themselves. So it's just really amazing seeing nurses like do something so different. But during the experience, like the mom was in the pool, the dad was like, she was like leaned back on the pool, and like the dad was like behind her and kind of just like rubbing her shoulders and making her calm down. And then she was doing really well at first. Like, she was breathing in. Keep in mind, she has had zero pain medicine, nothing at all. They don't even carry pain medicine here. I found that like so amazing because they have the medication for the baby when the baby comes, but like the vitamin K, but that they don't even store medicine here. And I asked her, I was like, well, what if the patients like beg you for pain medicine? And she was just like, they purposely don't have it here because when you want to come to the birthing center, you like tell them in the beginning that you don't want to have epidural, like no matter what. And sometimes, and what a lot of patients say, which is what I have witnessed, when they get to the hospital, they come with a plan of like, I don't want epidural, I don't want the pain medicine, I want to do it naturally. And then once you get there, like to the actual hospital, they don't mean to pressure you into it, but I have seen it where they'll say, you're at this point now, and if you don't get it now, you won't be able to get it later. And then that makes the mom like really worried of like, oh God, like if I don't get my epidural now, I'm not gonna be able to get it. And then what if my pain is like out of control? So a lot of moms that like didn't want an epidural end up getting one, and they regret it later on, saying that they wish they would have just waited. So they don't even have it as an option here. Now what they do have is a lot of other emergency equipment. They have oxygen. They have the face mask for the baby if needed. They have IV equipment so they can, hydrate you. They can give you IV medication, but not anything for pain. And the patients don't even have an IV in when they're delivering. Like, they don't even have an IV access, which is crazy to me, but they don't have IV access unless they really did need it. So she just gets in the pool and she's, laboring and leaned back, and like the midwife is like on one end, like outside the pool obviously, and like on a stool, so that like her head is kind of like at this level with the pool, and I was like on the other side, and kind of just waiting there and encouraging her and just like telling her she can do this, just being really positive, and then knowing when to kind of step back and like just be quiet and kind of just be like, let her have her own time. They had some like some kind of oil that they put behind her. It wasn't eucalyptus, it was something else. That's really good for helping with like labor, and I think that really helped too. It helped definitely calm her down. It smelled so good, and like the whole room started smelling like it. And then like out of nowhere, like she was sitting in position still like this with her husband behind her, and out of nowhere she just like gets up really fast in the pool and like turns on her side, and like it's on her knees with her legs open, and it's on her knees, and like starts to like bear down. And so like a lot of women know this, men might not know this, but like, so a lot of women end up having a bowel movement when they are in labor because they're pushing and you can't really distinguish what you're pushing. And so a lot of women end up having that issue even in the hospital all the time. And I mean, nothing stops, you just keep on pushing. But in a pool it's different. So they actually have like a little fish net. It's the weirdest thing. Like, when you are just cleaning out your fish tank and you take the fish out with a little fish net and put them in a bowl, like they have a fish net that goes if someone poops, you literally like don't even tell them, you don't say anything, you just take the fish net and you scoop it out and you just throw it in the trash, you just take it and dump it. And like, so that way the mom doesn't get embarrassed and it doesn't distract her from what she's doing. She probably has no clue that she even did that. She just thinks that she's pushing. And it was just crazy to watch because at one point I remember like her husband was in front of her and she was bent over the bed like this, and I mean not the bed, the pool, bent over the pool like this, and she was just like, I can't do this, I can't do it. But she wasn't, like, she was so in control, so in control, and mentally she was just, you can tell she was in another place and was like, I have to get this done. I got it. And my midwife that was with me, she was so amazing and encouraging. And she was just like, you do have this. Like, you can do this. Like, if you didn't think you could do this, you wouldn't have came here to do this water birth. We're going to do exactly how you planned, how you wanted it. And you're doing an amazing job. And just really encouraged her a lot. And like, allowed her to have that time to vent about her pain and how she was feeling, but also like kind of encouraged her and didn't let her get like wrapped up in the fact that she was in pain. Like, a lot of diversion was going on, and the patient, I didn't even notice what she was really doing. She was completely distracting her from the pain she was feeling. It was a really good technique, and it got the patient back focused. And she just went, and we knew the baby was coming, and the midwife that was with me ended up kind of coming behind the pool now, so she was kind of like behind her. And then there's only 2 midwives there today, and the rest of the people are nurses and medical assistants. And so it was me, the midwife, and another student, midwifery student, in the room. And the midwifery student came into the front of the patient, and she was just like, come on, like, we can feel the head. So they had gloves on, put their hand in the pool, and were able to feel the baby's head. And there she was like, come on, a couple more pushes, and you can do it. And it's amazing because like 2 more pushes, and like we don't even tell her when to push or how to breathe or anything like that. Like, her body just knows what to do. And she's just doing things on her own terms. And like, we didn't even, like, in labor and delivery, we would be so obsessed with like checking them and how dilated are you, and are you 4 centimeters, are you 6, are you 8, and like so fixated on that. And here they do not check you. Like, they don't check your dilation unless you're like really, really contracting, and they kind of limit the amount once your water's broken, which they try to do in the hospital too. But I feel like they checked her a lot less here, and they weren't so like, I don't know, it kind of takes the focus off the patient, off like trying to focus on laboring. I don't know, that it was just such a different experience. It felt like we were in someone's house. It was just really like a home-like experience. And like, so let me get back to the birthing story. So then we are in front of her, and like the midwifery student's next to me, and so she was like, come on, you can do it. And so like, out of nowhere, she gave it this one more push, and the midwifery student had her hands in there in the pool. And like, so I saw the baby's head come out in the pool, and the baby came out, the whole body was in the pool, and she just picked him up and just handed him straight to his mom and put him right on her chest. And the baby started crying, and it was just so beautiful. It was like so beautiful. And the mom just literally just sat right back on the pool and just held her baby. And the baby was crying, the dad started crying. I was tearing up. Like, it was just so different. And like, I have seen so many deliveries, and like nothing like this. Like, this was like so beautiful. It wasn't a hot mess like how it normally is in the hospital with like blood and like, just, I don't know, it wasn't as messy, I guess, because in the pool it was just like so natural. Like, the baby, once it comes out, just comes into the water. And I asked them, I think people's most concern is like, if the baby was to open their mouth, do they, are they gonna drown basically if they like swallow all this water? And the baby does, and if it does open their mouth, like, ends up getting a little bit of water into their mouth. But even with that, once they are able to cry, usually that loosens up and comes back out. And there's another thing they can do where they position the baby when they hold it kind of like almost upside down, and it brings the fluid back out from, if anything did get into their lungs, it brings it back up, and they end up coughing it out and crying it out. So it's not like the baby's hanging out in the water, for a long period of time. So